The prison arc on the Dream SMP is probably one of the most difficult to grasp arcs yet, spanning over many rare perspectives and a longer than usual period of time. So in this video, we go through it all at lightning speed to try and catch you up on the entire arc with as little time wasted as possible. This video was also written by my co-writer Ruby. Starting where we left off after the Discord finale, Dream reveals the last trick up his sleeve, the revival book. Seeing him as an active danger to the server, the people want a way to get rid of him in order to keep themselves and each other safe, but instead of killing him off, they store him away for later use, also making the prison a vault in a literal sense. A day after Dream arrives in the prison, Tommy goes to visit him. During this visit, Dream states that there is nothing to do in the cell besides watching the clock on the wall, and that he is planning on writing something in the books that were given to him. Tommy shows him how to spin the clock really fast, which Dream calls a new game, and he says that he's doing well so far, that he gets fed raw potatoes and can write or swim.
Yeah, I can swim.
He goes on to jump into the lava that blocks off his cell, killing himself, and thus the encounter ends with no real progress made by either character. Around this time, as he reveals later, Dream starts telling Sam about what he did to Tommy in exile, which leads to the warden becoming increasingly fearful and especially hateful towards the prisoner. 9 days later, Bad Boy Halo decides to pay Dream a visit as well. Dream is slow to respond at first, commenting that BBH is the first visitor in a while, and he says he's doing good and spins the clock, because apparently he doesn't write very much anymore. Bad tries to be optimistic about his conditions, and Dream agrees in a very unconvincing tone of voice.
This isn't so bad. I mean, how are you doing? You like it in here?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
He says that he gets potatoes, but they're raw, so they're not good food. Bad tells him that Tommy has started a hotel and about the egg, and Dream seems lethargic and preoccupied the entire time. He gives Bad a note that says thank you for visiting me, Bad Boy Halo, and explains that his sentence is forever, and goes on to talk more about the clock and how he likes it halfway. He then reveals to Bad Boy Halo that he sometimes, out of boredom, does a prank where he'll burn his clock so that Sam has to come and replace it, a form of interaction. After being asked whether or not he gets in trouble for it, he replies that Sam will sometimes essentially starve him for his attempts at interaction, though Dream laughs about Sam reprimanding him while talking about it. The warden is planning to make an automated food dispenser so as to not have to come into the cell himself, which means even less interaction for Dream, but despite all of this, he says that Sam is treating him amazing and that he's happy. Bad Boy Halo wants to become a prison guard so he can make the cell look nicer, as well as promising he'll talk to George and Sapnap, who Dream says he wants to visit him the most. He encourages him to look forward to better things, think positively, and...
Because, like, you gotta maintain good behavior. Because if you maintain good behavior... Ah, Dream, what are you doing? Don't... No! Dream! Oh my gosh!
Okay.
Well, after that traumatic experience, Bad Boy Halo feels conflicted, to say the very least.
I don't know how I feel. Like, on one hand, Dream did so much, like, bad stuff. That, I mean, that's what everybody says, but, like, holy cow. Those conditions that he's in, that's, like, horrible.
That very same day, Ranboo has a strange hallucination-like nightmare about visiting Dream. However, when he tries to visit again, Sam tells him that he visited not too long after Dream was first locked up, also bringing a memory book with him. Later, during the prison podcast with Techno, Dream himself mentions Ranboo and says that he, quote-unquote, used to visit a lot before stopping completely, and this lines up with what Ranboo does afterwards, having Sam promise to never let him in again. 21 days into Dream's stay in the cell, and Sapnap finally decides to visit. Dream's cell has had some of the obsidian changed out for crying obsidian as a security measure. Dream could have and tried to light a nether portal in the cell to escape, and Sapnap tells him he needs to stay in the prison because that is where he deserves to be. Dream burns his clock in response, insisting that he will get better and get out eventually, and Sapnap threatens to kill him if he does, to which Dream simply tells him to deliver a message to Ranboo, a smiley face, which seems to trigger his Enderwalk when received. When Tommy visits next, Tommy says he thinks Dream is deserving of being locked up, but he highlights he doesn't think he deserves death when asked by Sam. He says he'll only ever visit Dream if he needs anyone revived from now on, calling it the only reason that Dream is still alive. The first thing Dream tells Tommy is that he's lost his clock since the last time he visited him, and then Dream eagerly tells Tommy he's glad he came to visit, that it's been a while and he wishes he would visit more. Tommy then tells Dream that this is his last visit. Dream argues that forever as a sentence is a long time, asking why it would be Tommy's last, and Tommy tells him that he wants to move on. They talk about the crying obsidian, with Tommy comparing the situation of not being allowed to escape through the nether to exile, which devolves into an argument. He finds out that Dream burnt the books he was supposed to write and that Bad Boy Halo visited at some point. Dream asks him to visit again, but Tommy refuses, saying he's a terrible person, and Dream says that everyone thinks they're in the right, and that he did bad things for good reasons.
What good reasons? No, please enlighten us. Please enlighten me.
I just wanted to bring the server together, have it be a happy family, you know?
Bring the server to... Fine.
Tommy refuses to listen to said reasons, listing Dream's crimes again, and he says he refuses to stress himself out by going to visit Dream any longer. Dream says he's trying to change, promising to be better if he comes back, but Tommy, not heeding him, says goodbye. At that moment, though, explosions are heard going off in the distance. The two talk about it for a moment before Tommy starts yelling for Sam. His name disappears and the warden doesn't answer as more TNT goes off, Tommy freaking out and Dream seeming to find it interesting. Tommy starts begging Dream for a way out and Dream tells him calmly that Sam is dealing with the issue, that it means he could be stuck in there for a bit, maybe even days, which Dream tells him he knows because he signed a book, because Dream was the one who wrote it, that said that if there's a security issue, he could be in there up to a week. Tommy accuses Dream of lying, saying it's too perfectly timed to be a coincidence, calling him the monster of the server, saying that he hasn't changed, and Dream trying to convince him he's trying to change. The two argue, Dream bringing up exile again in the process, until Dream suggests to just deal with each other's presence and explains he's happy to finally have company. Tommy is panicking and saying he wants to hurt Dream and takes the thank you books from the chests, as well as empty books and quills, and burns them despite Dream's protests, telling him that if Sam hears him panicking over the items, he might come back. After quite a bit of arguing, Sam says the prison is on lockdown. Tommy is incredulous, Dream says it's not that bad and that they have tons of time to bond, and after Tommy repeatedly calls him dumb and evil, Dream loses his cool, yelling that Tommy's the one that's being dumb. Tommy calms down as the realization sets in, and the stream ends. The next time we see Tommy and Dream, the scene opens with Tommy running around the cell making loud noises, and Dream sitting in the cauldron writing. He's frustrated and asks Tommy to be quiet, but Tommy keeps asking Dream questions, punching the cat which has somehow appeared in the cell. Dream stands in front of it, asking him to stop, and Sam appears to give them potatoes and refuses to let Tommy out as his security issue hasn't been fixed yet. Tommy complains about not having enough food, to which Dream gives him some as well as Sam dispensing more into the cell, and Dream says it's not that bad, that he's gotten used to the cell and that he's happy to have company and a cat with him. He burns the clock, and after Tommy asks to be let out again, suggests that they escape together. Tommy says no, punching the cat in response as Dream tries to stand in front of it to take the blow. He asks Dream if he loves it, killing it when he says that he does, and wants it to stay after Tommy leaves. And in response to this, Dream says that this cat was his symbol of hope, that he could stay in the prison and be content. But however, now that Tommy had killed it, he was even more motivated to escape and get his revenge on everybody who had wronged him. He says he's grown tired of Tommy's whining about being in the same box he's been locked in for 100 times longer than Tommy ever was. Tommy tells him he will never get out, and Dream promises to never use the revive book on him or his friends. Tommy then reveals that he doesn't think the revive book, the only reason people are keeping Dream alive, is real. And then, in an effort to prove the point that his life still holds value because he can bring people back to life, Dream kills Tommy.
His corpse is there.
Okay.
All right.
Why don't you go see him?
No, stop it.
In the aftermath of this event, Sam reacts by saying he didn't anticipate Dream actually killing Tommy, hence he never reached the cell in time, and after this happens, Sam leaves for an island where Quackity comes to visit him, only to rile him up more and give him the idea to kill Dream in retaliation. However, when they arrive in the prison, Sam decides against it because of his duty and the revive book. 2 days after Tommy dies, he is revived once again, with Dream asking him questions about death and the limbo state, such as how long he's been there, who he's talked to, and what it felt like. He says he was scared it wouldn't work because he had never tried it before, and Tommy details that being dead felt horrible, and he's talked to Wilbur and Mexican Dream, although Schlatt, strangely enough, appeared to be asleep. He expresses signs of trauma when Dream punches him and has somewhat of a breakdown in the cell, and Tommy says that Wilbur said horrible things to him while he was in limbo with him, declaring that Wilbur was worse and more dangerous than Dream ever was. Dream doesn't promise not to revive Wilbur, saying he's the only one with the power to decide on that, and that he thinks that Wilbur hasn't done anything that bad. And he also suggests experimenting on Tommy to find out more about the afterlife. Tommy then realizes his one major weakness. Dream is the revive book in essence, and there is no other way to get rid of the revive book than to kill him, to make sure that Wilbur stays dead forever, but so does everyone else. Dream says that when Tommy gets out, he can tell everyone that the revive book is real, that he wasn't lying, and he also says that since he can kill everyone and bring them back, they're his puppets. When Tommy asks him why he killed him, Dream says he had to prove the legitimacy of the revive book to him. He says he'll let Tommy go and not kill him again just so that Sam doesn't cut off his visitors further or starve him again, but also promises to bring back Wilbur, with whose help he says he'll escape. After 8 more days, Dream and Tommy are still stuck together within the room, Dream remarking that he's starving, confirming that Sam hadn't come back to give either of them food during the time since Tommy's revival. They're bored, waiting for the warden, and Tommy burns his food in lava as they argue again, before Sam finally arrives and Tommy is released. Tommy warns him not to allow Dream any visitors, saying that Dream plans to escape, and that Techno owes him a favor. After this experience, both Ranboo and Tommy start plotting to kill Dream so that he can't bring back the villains of the past, present, and future on the SMP, allowing them to rid the world of such dangerous individuals for good. However, another person ends up becoming interested in the powers of the revive book, and that person is none other than Quackity. He doesn't intend to destroy its powers for good, though. He persuades Sam into letting him bring weapons into the cell as a means of getting the revive book from Dream, taking away the last bit of power that Dream has, and allowing the SMP members to take his final life. Sam agrees after some coercion, giving him better tools before he steps into the cell, including netherite weapons and shears. Quackity goes on to talk about Dream's loss of control since he got locked up, to which Dream asks if he came to gloat. Quackity brings up Tommy's death, and Dream is interested in other people's reactions. The topic goes back to the revive book, Dream asking again whether people knew it was real now, and Quackity begins to ask that he gives it to him, but Dream refuses, saying he burnt it a long time ago and is preserved only in the form of knowledge inside Dream's head. Quackity takes out his weapons, and after the initial shock, Dream begins to frantically yell for Sam, not knowing that the two are working together. Quackity promises to come torture Dream daily until he gets the revive book from him. Around this time, the prison's keycards are stolen by Punk. Sam builds him a room planning on, well, I'll just show you.
I think, right?
Sure. I could just poison him forever.
Yeah, you could.
Making me
you could.
rotten flesh. Maybe beating to death with my hands.
And then Punk tries to talk him out of it, saying that the prison is controlling him as much as the egg would, and that Sam had changed.
You just give me a potato.
Eat up. They're
And
good,
that's
aren't
what
they?
Dream eats? Dream eats this? Every day?
All he eats.
You need to start opening your eyes. Huh.
Sam ends up cutting off one of Punk's arms, successfully getting every last one of the defunct keycards back. And keep in mind, these keycards didn't even work. Sam was only doing it for the message that it would send. Later, Tommy finally decides to come and kill Dream, sneaking in with an invisibility potion while using Ghostbur as an alibi. The lava starts dropping, and Dream seems to run around the cell once before coming to a stop at the center. As soon as Tommy arrives at the cell and before the netherite bars drop, he reveals the active piece. Sam yells at him to stop, Dream takes a step back towards the entrance, Tommy immediately turns to him trying to hit him, Dream backs off until he hits the wall, letting out a small what? Tommy crosses the bridge back while Ghostbur stays, Dream pleads for Sam to let him out, who tells everyone to shut up, as Tommy is asking Ghostbur if he can reach Dream to kill him. Dream yells that he has a hostage, Sam answers that he's just a ghost, while Dream stammers that Sam wouldn't let another person die, and then Dream shows that he has the revive book in his hands. Ghostbur starts pleading for Tommy to help him. Tommy and Ghostbur count to 10, Sam telling him to shut up, and after he shuts down a last request to set Dream free, Dream kills Ghostbur, reviving Wilbur, as the lava starts covering the entrance. After well over 2 months of daily visits, Quackity finally snaps, yelling at Dream. He says it's getting tiring, but that he needs to come in to remind him every day about everything he's done or else he'll forget. Quackity then proceeds to ask him questions about his involvement and relationship with Technoblade and tells him to write a note inviting him to visit. He refuses to say why, but promises to give Dream a week-long break if he obeys. Dream tries to compromise, sensing weakness, and offers to write a note to Sapnap instead, but Quackity, never one to drop the ball, goes on to threaten to kill him, and in the end, Dream agrees to write the note. Interestingly enough, Quackity doesn't have the note to give Techno and just tells him to visit Dream verbally, and Techno does this, getting trapped in the cell by Sam in the process. Techno has also, while being trapped, managed to convince Dream to draw plans for the prison because he built it and this could help the duo escape, and also even summon Dream XD, the server's god, and get a bell from him after a small amount of coercion. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one about the secret of the final disc confrontation and the weird theory that makes way too much sense for it to be overlooked. Subscribe!